So, you're building with AI. You already know how incredibly powerful it is, but you've probably also seen the bill. And wow, can it get expensive, right? Especially in the cloud. That's exactly why today we're going to dive into this exploding world of AI cloud costs and break down a real strategic playbook for getting them under control. Let's jump in. First, let's just put a number on this. $200 billion. That's what the world is projected to spend on AI workloads. You know, with a number that massive, and it's only getting bigger, optimizing your costs is no longer some nice to have. It's an absolutely critical business discipline. It can literally make or break your entire AI initiative. And look, it's not just us saying this. Analysts at Gartner are basically sounding the alarm. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? This isn't about some line item on an engineering budget. No, it's a real strategic threat. If you let these costs run wild, it's like they're literally eating the very business value you're trying to create in the first place. All right, so if we're going to get a handle on these costs, we first have to understand them. So where is all this money actually going? It's time to perform a little autopsy on the typical AI cloud build. And the answer is pretty much everywhere. The costs are hiding in every part of the AI lifecycle. Of course, you've got the big one, compute. We're talking about those eye-wateringly expensive GPUs and TPUs you need for training. Then there's the cost of just storing and moving these massive data sets around. Add in the high-speed networking for distributed jobs, the convenience fees for those managed services, and maybe the most painful one of all, paying for powerful machines that are just sitting there doing nothing. That's the silent killer of your budget. So yeah, knowing these drivers, that's step one. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. Now what? Let's talk solutions. We're going to approach this with a clear three-part strategy that brings together culture, smart tactics, and the right tools for the job. The first pillar, and this is a big one, is all about culture. It's a concept called FinOps. And please don't think of this as just another tool. It's a fundamental shift in mindset. It's about getting finance, engineering, and your operations teams all in the same room, speaking the same language. The whole point is to make everyone accountable for cloud spend. And here's the crazy part. A great FinOps culture doesn't just cut costs, it can actually make you innovate faster. When engineers can see the real-time cost impact of their decisions, they just naturally start designing more efficient systems from the get-go. A great way to think about FinOps is like a financial GPS for your cloud. It's a perfect analogy, right? Without it, you're just driving in the fog, burning gas, hoping you end up somewhere good. But with it, you get clear turn-by-turn directions that guide every single decision, making sure you're always on the most efficient route. And this chart, it shows you where the biggest wins are. Just look at those high-impact bars. Rightsizing, which is really just a fancy way of saying don't use a sledgehammer to crack a nut, is huge. And so are spot instances. These are basically the cloud provider's spare compute power, and you can get it at a massive discount, sometimes up to 90% off. Now, what's the catch? Well, they can be taken away with short notice. But for the right kind of job, like a training run that can be paused and restarted, the savings are just, well, they're transformational. Okay, that's the high-level strategy. But let's get concrete. Let's zoom in on a specific type of tool that really brings these ideas to life, a modern serverless platform. And for our deep dive, we're going to use Google Cloud Run as our case study. This slide really just lays it all out, doesn't it? It's the old way versus the new way. With a traditional virtual machine, you pay for it 24/7, whether you're using it or not. You have to scale it up and down by hand, you manage everything. But with a serverless approach, it can scale all the way down to zero. You only pay for what you use. And the infrastructure? Totally managed for you. The difference in efficiency is just night and day. So how does it actually pull this off? Well, a platform like this runs your code in these things called stateless containers. It automatically spins up more when you get a traffic spike, and it spins them all the way down to zero when things are quiet. And the billing? It's crazy granular. We're talking down to the nearest 100 milliseconds. Oh, and this particular platform is built on an open standard called Knative, which is great because it means you're not locked into one vendor. But wait, there's more. There's this super cool feature called sidecars. It lets you run multiple, completely separate containers together as a single service. The name is perfect. It's just like a sidecar on a motorcycle. You can add all this new functionality without having to modify the main bike, or in this case, your main application. It's a really clever way to add advanced features. And you see people using these for all kinds of clever stuff. You can run a custom monitoring agent, stick a proxy like Nginx or Envoy in front of your app for routing, add a security filter to check requests, or even manage all your database connections. It just gives you this incredible versatility, all without ever touching your core application code. And this isn't just some theory, right? Look at NASDAQ. They had this really gnarly networking problem. And instead of rewriting a ton of code, which would have been super expensive, they just popped in a sidecar to handle the traffic. Bam, problem solved. As their engineering director put it, it saved them significant engineering costs. That's real-world impact right there. Okay, so you see how powerful a platform like this can be. But how do you make sure you're squeezing every last drop of efficiency out of it? Let's move into our final section and build out a really simple, actionable playbook you can use.
Being proactive here is absolutely key. First up, clean up your old revisions. Believe it or not, even inactive versions of your service can cost you money if you've told them to keep a minimum number of instances running. Second, get into your auto-scaling settings and fine-tune them to find that perfect sweet spot between performance and cost. Third, you gotta fight the cold start. The best way? Keep your container images as small and lean as possible. And finally, if you have workloads that are predictable and always on, you have to use the available discounts.
And you should not sleep on those discounts because they are huge. These are called committed use discounts, or CUDs. Just a 1-year commitment can get you 17% off. If you go for a 3-year flexible plan, you're looking at nearly half off, a massive 46% savings on your compute spend. For any part of your app that has steady, predictable traffic, this is a powerful lever to pull. Now look, we've been using one specific tool as our main example, but I want to be super clear. These ideas are universal. This table shows you the equivalents across all the major cloud providers. Whether you call it Compute Optimizer or Azure Advisor or Spot Instances or Preemptible VMs, the names might change, but the principles of right-sizing, using spare capacity, and going serverless are exactly the same everywhere. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's that taming your AI cloud bill isn't some project you do once, check it off the list, and then forget about it. It's an ongoing journey. It's a continuous process that blends technology, financial discipline, and a real culture of accountability. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. You're building these brilliant AI systems that can learn and adapt and get smarter over time. The question is your spending just as smart? Something to think about.